This is the Kitchen Sink WP Podcast, episode 314.
I program my home computer.
We have a server crash. 404 error. Page not found. Links aren't working. System is crashing. System is crashing. System is crashing.
Your old HTML website. Barely alive. We have the technology. We have WordPress. A new website. Better than it was before. Better. Stronger. Faster. We have the technology. The technology.
Why, hello everybody, this is Adam Silver, the host of the Kitchen Sink WP Podcast. Thanks for being here. Let's get started. All right, upcoming events, I'm excited. So we have two WordCamps next weekend. WordCamp Greenville, South Carolina, March 7th, one-day camp, and WordCamp Málaga, it's in Spain, one of my favorite cities in the world. I've been there, actually, not to the WordCamp. It was 22 years ago when I was there last. It's March 7th and 8th. It's a great, great town. Man, I wish I could go to that one. I don't know if I can make that or not. But if you are there, you should definitely go. I'm going to see if I can make that happen. That'd be a stretch. But you never know. All right. In Greenville, South Carolina, awesome camp, great community. I spoke down there a couple years back. Had a great time. So, all right, moving on. Segment 1 in the news. Only this week to talk about really WordPress 5.4 Beta 3 is now out. Came out a couple days back on the 25th. It's still in development, so of course, if you want to test it, go ahead and test it. Don't use it on a live site. Some highlights are the Gutenberg fixes, some display health score on dashboard, etc. So I'll put a link to that in the show notes. That is it in the news at the moment. Yeah, that's it. All right, moving on, segment 2. Today's meat and potatoes is the dark side. What I mean by that is, even though WordPress is the largest CMS out there, there are other CMSs, and I've referred people to them in the past. The best known ones are Squarespace, Wix, Weebly, and there's some others as well. And I'm going to take a look into them. And I've been meaning to do this for a few years, actually, but now's the time. So I'm going to dive into each one of these, those 3 plus some others over this rest of this year, maybe 1 or 2 a month. We'll see, probably about 1 a month at least, and try them out. Why? Well, it's a good thing to know what the quote, air quotes, competition looks like, what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong, etc. Get a take on it to know when WordPress might not be the right platform for a potential client or user. It's a platform. I love it. We use it. I use it every day, literally every day. But it's always good to know what else is out there. Just kind of keep your eyes open. So with that, I dove into Squarespace this week, and I had a site in mind to help a friend. He's a real estate agent friend of mine. He needed a basic brochure site, and I'm going to use the same concept across all these test sites that I do this rest of this year using these different platforms. And I want to see how would I build that in Squarespace. So I went over to their website. I clicked sign up for the trial, no credit card needed. And then it gives you a whole bunch of questions as you go through it. What's your site about? And there's categories: education, jewelry, consulting, etc. What's going on there. So I clicked other, and I entered real estate. And then the next button was, next question was, what are your goals? And from what are your goals, you get a whole bunch of other information. For example, what was that? Oh, those were, market myself in my business, publish a blog or other media, get appointments made, have a contact form, sell products, sell services, sell memberships, etc. So there's those things as well that you have choices of. So I clicked and selected what I selected. I selected market myself or my business, publish a blog or other media, get appointments, and offer a contact form. That's what I selected. The next question was, where are you in your process? I picked growing an existing business. The other options there were, and this is what's interesting, there's always a lot of options. Collecting inspiration, formalizing an idea or personal project, turning a project or hobby into a business, replace my site with one from Squarespace, or grow an existing business. So that's what I selected for this test case. And after that, there was a screen of templates. And actually in those templates choices, there was real estate and properties was in there. And I clicked on that, and there were 5 templates to choose from. And I picked one to preview it. And during the preview, you can click on the table view and on mobile, like you can in different platforms within WordPress, different themes. So you can see what it looks like. I clicked on the About page. Our team page was there. Contact button had a form on it. And I also noticed, happenstance, there was a button for demo. So I clicked on that, opened a new tab with a new window, full screen, full width. And you can see the whole thing as wide as can be, like in action with their data and their content. So I'm like, okay, that's what I want to use. So I selected that one and said I want to try that. It then took me to create an account page, which I thought was kind of a weird time to do it. So they kind of get you slightly hooked in, and then you create your account. A little onboarding, if you will. There's 4 questions. What's the title of the site? Then they give you an animated GIF showing you how to edit pages, create pages, and adding styles to pages. The next page and area is the site itself. You get an assistant that pops up as well with answers to common questions, and closing it, you can go back and click edit, it comes right back. Clicking edit also, site goes to the full page. I hovered around, I can edit the header, some text areas, scrolling down, images. It's all inline front end editing. There's no quote dashboard per se. It's all right there in front of you. And I poked around for a while. I took some solid time here, a solid hour, I guess, maybe more, seeing what I could change, etc. And then seeing what I could build out the page. I added the logo for my friend. I uploaded his PNG, which the transparency didn't go through for some reason. I thought it was weird. I tried that for a little bit. I gave up on that. I made the header white, and then I rearranged the layout, picking a lighter font style. It was nice because it's instant feedback. You see it right away. Nothing to save, nothing to preview, just right then and there. The next section down on this template was an image, and it took me a second to realize and to try to edit it. I double-clicked it, and it brought up options. And in those options, that's where it was key, there were sections. And those sections remind me of the Gutenberg editor, which I thought was pretty interesting. And for example, the sections, your choices are, let me bring it up here, I have a screenshot. That was headline, list, gallery, images, quote, text, video, appointments, contact, and there's a whole bunch. And it shows you what they're going to look like. As you click on them or hover over them, you get to see what that will look like as a quote, like a block, if you will, if you kind of look at the analogy to Gutenberg and the block structure there. So poking around the sections, it was nice. I like the fact that it had that interface there. Back to the double clicking. So the choices there are format, colors, and background. And then image selection was in the format as well. So format, you get to control the height and width controls along with the alignment. Background, you add or replace images, change it to a video link. And the video links are only YouTube and Vimeo. And you can also have some options for colors as well. And the colors, you can override the default theme and pick your own colors on that one page or that one section as well. So I continue to press buttons and click around. That's what you do when you first start learning something new. I clicked into another area by accident, actually. It's a text area. And I only found that because there was like a little gray blob, it almost looked like a tooltip, but it wasn't a tooltip. And it opened up a content block area that I could choose from more content areas. And in that case, again, much like the Gutenberg editor, it was a lot of options. For example, I had choices of markdown, quote, image, video, embed, audio, a collage, overlap. A lot more options for each one of these little areas of almost like a row, I guess is the way you'd want to look at it from my perspective. So there's also an e-commerce area. That's right. So I was done building out the page. Looked pretty good. Nothing I couldn't do pretty quickly in my tool set of choices, Beaver Builder and UABB, etc., Gravity Forms, etc. There is a commerce area, e-commerce area in the settings for setting up a store, but I didn't go there for this test because I don't need e-commerce. There's also scheduling, but it looks like it's a tie-in and an integration with Acuity, and you have to pay for that, I believe. There's also built-in analytics. So again, this is a very top high-level view of my just quick, probably 90 minutes, maybe 2 hours total of Squarespace. My overall thoughts. I can see the appeal. I really can. Once you get used to the overall functions and locations of things, like anything else, you'll become comfortable with it. You can build out a site pretty quickly. That said, I'm still way faster in building sites and mock-ups using WordPress, just from muscle memory. 10 years in, I know where things are, I know where to find things, and I get it. I'm still not using Gutenberg, the latest editor, at all yet. I mean, that's not true, not at all, but limited places. I'm going to update Kitchen Sink eventually. I'm going to revamp a few things. I know it's coming. There's no denying the fact that I'm going to have to change and grow with that. So I will. I will continue to recommend to some people other platforms because I can see how it's a little easier for certain people. And ironically enough, what's interesting, I had a conversation just today of this recording, which is a few days earlier than normal, with my friend Paul. He gets frustrated when he's trying to figure something out in WordPress. I helped him pretty quickly. To me, it's a challenge. It's like, oh, why didn't this kind of work? And it's one of those little quirks that different people have. He got frustrated. I felt challenged. And what he really would like to see on a WordPress-specific way is more onboarding tutorials built into the dashboard. The way, for example, Beaver Builder, the first time you launch it as a page builder with the theme or the page builder part of it, it gives you a tutorial. It gives you those 4 or 5 meta boxes that pop up and say, here's how to do this, here's how to do that. And yes, in the dashboard, you actually have welcome to WordPress, and there are steps there, but it's not a guided tour. And there are places you can do that, yes, of course, but it's not necessarily intuitive to do that. So, interesting. I can definitely see how some people are frustrated and some people aren't. I'm still going to use it, obviously. And then lastly, the pricing is something to consider, where pricing and GPL is something to keep in mind. I like the fact that, WordPress is free. You have to pay for certain aspects of it, yes. Hosting, the domain registration, etc. Squarespace prices start, I guess, at $12 a month if you pay annually, up to $40 if you want e-commerce. So, but there are benefits to both. I also like the fact that I own my content always and forever. I'm not so sure how true that is these days at Squarespace, or getting content out or migrating away from Squarespace. I haven't tried that yet. I have done it with a Wix or a Weebly site a year ago or so, and we'll talk about that down the line when I do that review in a month or two. So, like I said, I'm sticking with WordPress. I'm not jumping ship anytime soon, but it is good to kind of look around and see what else is out there, just for some inspiration. And I think now, knowing what's out there, I can see a lot of similarities between the Gutenberg, the block editor, and what Squarespace is doing or what they've done. So I definitely see that now. And again, it inspires me to then go in and now build a site using the Gutenberg blocks along with the other tool sets that I have. So there you go. If you're interested, check it out. Or not. It's up to you. No pressure. All right, moving on. Segment 3, tip and tool of the week. This week's tool, it's a website. It's called masscode.io. It's a free and open source code snippet manager for developers. It helps you create and organize your own personal snippet collections and have quick access to it. So apparently they have, it's a Mac version. There's, I think, also other platforms. There's Mac, there's Windows, and there's Linux. So check that out over at masscode.io. I just heard about this recently. I downloaded it and kind of poking around with it and see how it works. Pretty cool looking so far. So there you have it. All right. I think that is it. Yeah, that's it for this week. If you have any questions, go ahead and send it in via email, adam@KitchensinkWP.com, or use the SpeakPipe function of the website. If you want to support the show, you can. Become a Patreon. Link on the website there, too. And you can also sponsor the show. There's a form. Thanks for listening. See you next week. And now go out and do some awesome things with WordPress. All right. Bye-bye.